Good Wednesday morning to you, friends. You're listening to episode number 58. Before we dive into today's episode, which, by the way, you're going to love because this is the perfect time for the subject, procrastination and habits. Hello. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know I have openings right now for my 1-hour clarity and strategy calls. This 1-hour call is for you if you're feeling stuck or discombobulated or distracted. Let me help you audit your life and business and see where you're struggling. Imagine you're standing inside a snow globe that somebody just shook up, and all the things that you are thinking about that swirl around in your brain are the snow. When we don't have the clarity that we need, this is exactly how it feels. It feels like everything is everywhere and we have no idea what to do first. So let me help you. I am on the outside and I can see more clearly where you're struggling and where you should be focusing. Because I have a bird's eye view, right? And I can see the roadblocks that are stopping you from going further, and I can help redirect you to what you really want. The things I cover most with my clients are clarity, confidence, goal planning, alignment, procrastination, and how to beat your overwhelm. This 1-hour call will bring you the awareness and the clarity you need, and you'll walk away with an exact blueprint on how to move forward. Visit me at livewithaudacitynow.com and click on coaching to book your call. The prices go up on January 1st, so if you have any pull on your heart at all to sign up for this, to finally get the direction you need, seriously, let's go into 2021 with a game plan. I know your brain feels like a jumble right now, but let's just chat about it. Let's get some things sorted out and nailed down so you can finally focus and start making the progress you're struggling to see. Okay, so on to today's episode. Do you ever struggle with willpower or procrastination? I know, me too. How about morning routines? Yep, I've been there too. But today's episode with Coach Sali D is going to help us out with that. Habit formation is how we can change our lives. Seriously, sometimes it just takes a small change to produce a major shift in our lives, and she's going to tell us how to build habits that we will stick to. Let's dive in. You're listening to the Live with Audacity podcast. Hey girl, hey, I'm Melissa Stewart, mama to 4 kiddos ranging the age from college student to first grader, wife to a high school football and track coach, and a multi-passionate entrepreneur. Audacity is defined as intrepid boldness or disregard for normal constraints, and that's exactly what we have here. As a super busy mom who is easily distracted, I struggled to get focused on my goals and see results in my life and business. But I realized to make any progress, I needed to implement simple, efficient systems that worked for us without adding to the overwhelm and making me feel boxed in by rigid schedules. And I want to help you do that too. This podcast is aimed at giving you tangible tips and tools to get your life together, finally focus on the calling on your heart, and do it all in the way that works for you. So come on, boo-boo. It is time to get focused, get intentional, and live with audacity. Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning back into the Live with Audacity podcast. I am so excited about today's episode because I get to have Coach Sali D on, and we are talking about overcoming procrastination and building habits and things of that nature. Sali, welcome to the show.
Hello, and thank you so much for inviting me. It's really great to be here.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how habit formation and overcoming procrastination and building habits became the thing that you most gravitated to and are so good at coaching people on.
Well, actually, procrastination has been my problem for the long time, but I have realized that procrastination is my chronic problem long after I had to experience its negative results. So I have always considered myself to be a high achiever when it came to work or education, But after going to Germany for my psychology studies, I have realized that some standards were too high for me to achieve. And instead of diving into it, I have started procrastinating and delaying the challenges up to the last minute. That has badly impacted my mental and physical health, and it caused a lot of disappointment in my personal and professional relationships. It has put under the risk huge amounts of money, and obviously, I kept losing a lot of time and confidence during that period. So later, I have realized that the root cause of my procrastination was the lack of clarity, fear of the unknown, and last but not least, the perfectionism. So, yeah, this was the way that I was passing through. And only after I have realized the true causes, I was able to intentionally change my attitudes and behaviors. I have overcome my perfectionism. I have made my best and reached kind of how to say that, high quality standards, and was able to tackle challenges as soon as they have appeared without delaying them for days or months or years. So now I didn't have any more of the sleepless nights. I kept choosing now over later, and even challenging tasks became easy for me because I have learned to change my approach towards the difficult or complicated task or the task that was not quite pleasant for me. And later, I was able to help other people with their tasks and problems, although I wasn't doing it as a professional, but as a colleague or course mate or a friend. So, yeah, this was the foundation for that, the process of overcoming it myself.
That is so amazing. I love that.
Thank you. And so, yeah, this was the beginning, and obviously, a bit later, when I tried to be a high achiever and I tried to use all of this at my benefit, at some point I have actually burned out, and I have been working 9 to 5 full time. I was writing my master's thesis, and I had already one child, and I gave birth to the second child, and all of this was happening at the same time. So after reaching the peak of my productivity, I have totally burned out and stayed at home for some time. But now, instead of getting a good rest, I had lost a structure and a purpose, if you get what I mean. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I started delaying thinking about my aspirations. So I wasn't procrastinating on like usual to-do lists or usual tasks, but I was procrastinating on my aspirations and about considering my aspirations and goals for the future and delaying thinking about that for tomorrow or later. And it wasn't clear for me what was the next thing that I wanted to do in my life. So this is happening before I have actually chose to become a coach. And so after quitting 9 to 5 and staying at home for about 2 years or so, I felt quite reluctant towards returning to 9 to 5 job. But also I had no clue what were my further plans, and I felt really depressed because I didn't feel that I was heading anywhere. And after that, I just decided to ask for help. And I have asked for professional help from mindset coach and from a cognitive behavioral practitioner. And this was the breaking point in my life where I have actually realized what my zone of genius was, what my aspirations were, and where I was heading. And this was through their help, through the help of those people, I have actually found my strength and my ability, something that I was really good at and that I wanted to share with the world. And so at that point, I came to the place where I am right now.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And so tell me a little bit about how when you were going through the stage of you were writing your master thesis and burning out and, had your second child, did you start learning how to manage your procrastination and your habits after that, or like during that season?
So I have actually learned to manage that before, but at that point I was just really exhausted, so I didn't have a
Yeah.
purpose. So I didn't
Yeah.
have anything to I didn't have anything to procrastinate because I was just staying at home and doing this course related and daily chores and children related stuff. So it wasn't really about the job. But as soon as those professionals helped me to find my purpose, I just started attending the coaching certification courses. And then I already had a structure again. So the lack of structure was something that really depressed and bothered me. And as soon as I have created a purpose for me and kind of find a way to professionally self-actualize, then I got all my energy back. And so procrastination hasn't been an issue for me for years already, because as soon as I see the task that is challenging or uncomfortable for me, I just try to break it down into achievable parts and to kind of do it with enthusiasm. So, I have kind of my system for that on how to change the habit of the person. And I have, considering that I am a psychologist, I have like a lot of theoretical background, but like personal experience was something that really showed me how to go through that. And now it's kind of something that I feel really confident about.
Okay, awesome. And so, what are some tips and tricks that we can use to either try to build a new habit that we know we need, or so for me,
Mm-hmm.
I have these things that I write down, and I'm like, I need to get these things done today. And some days it's like, I don't want to do that. How do I get over that? Help me figure that out.
Of course. So the first and the most important step is getting aware that there is a problem, because often we just do not pay attention that this is a problem. So you must be sure that whatever is on your to-do list is important for you or for your further goals. If you do not have the reason to do that, like the strong reason to do that, then it's understandable that you might be procrastinating on that. But if the goal or the task on your list is important for your future development or career or business goals or whatever, so if you know that this is really important for you, but you are still delaying that, then it's important to kind of understand what is the reason for that. So what is the root cause? Because mostly people see only the symptoms, like, for example, doing something else and kind of replacing the important task with less important but pleasant task. When you understand the root cause, so is it your perfectionism? Is it your fear? Is it that maybe there's something going on with the time management skills? Maybe the to-do list that you have is not quite realistic, So it's important to get aware of the reason. Like, is this the thing that you are going to do for the first time? Or maybe you are not having an inspiration. So whatever it is, just make sure you are aware of that, and that you understand the root cause. And whenever you know the root cause, for example, if the root cause is the fear of the unknown, then you can create a strategy to overcome it and create small steps that will help you to kind of make it less fearful or less uncomfortable for you. And procrastination can be not only a habit in certain cases, it can also be the symptom of some other problem like depression or mood disorder or whatever. And in that case, it's important to kind of separate procrastination as a habit from procrastination as the result of something else, and that then it becomes easier because in that case you know whom you can address, and
Okay.
like for any other habit, it's important to know what is the cue for your behavior, what is the craving that you have. So what are you trying to satisfy in yourself through procrastinating? What is the routine that you are
Ooh.
undergo? So are you kind of watching movies, or are you doing some daily stuff? So what is the activity that you replace your major task with? And then what reward are you getting from that? So is it so you're trying to find some pleasure and avoid discomfort, right? So it's important to understand all of the parts of the process to be able to deal with that. So you should know the cue, you should know your craving, you should understand the routine that you are going through. When are you procrastinating? Why are you procrastinating? With whom? So what is the context? What are your emotions at the time? So it's quite I wouldn't say that it's a complicated process, but it's a complex process, because it's necessary to be intentional on the change. You should want the change, because if you do not want to change it, then the chances are that it will not work through. But if you see that you are sick and tired of procrastinating and feeling guilty in the end, or feeling overwhelmed, or having all these things piled up together and stressing you out, then most probably there is a motivation to change. And if there is a motivation and intention together, then it will be all right.
Yeah. No, that's so genius. I want to go back real quick to the craving.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think you're obviously 100% right about that. It's um you get so much out of procrastination, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can, if I procrastinate, I can sit on the bed and watch my favorite show or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How the heck do we, because what we really want is to do
Mm-hmm.
the thing so that we can work toward our goals and reach for higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we change that craving to be from, I don't want to do this and I would rather
Mm-hmm.
just sit on my bed, to no, I'm focused on this. I have to do this if I ever want to. So I guess what I'm asking is,
Yeah.
for me, it always seems like there's enough time and I can do it later. And I don't, the
Mm-hmm.
urgency isn't there. How do we change that in our brain? To say, no, it's, the time isn't there. It'll be a different time later, but now is the time for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically, you cannot quite change your cravings, but you can change the routines that you're going through understanding them. So, whatever you're looking for are the happy feelings, right? So, the task is not associated with something happy and positive, because it might be complicated or difficult. And so, you're looking something to reward yourself. But in fact, it's quite the same as, for example, if you take a child, it is the same as giving children sweets before their vegetables or healthy food, like giving
Yeah.
reward before the action is taken. And in the end, you will just spoil the child or break down their health. The same goes with procrastination. So you are rewarding yourself before actually deserving that, and in the end you end up with all those negative feelings. So procrastination doesn't let you understand the time as it is. So you have kind of distorted perception of time, as if you will do that and you still have time, but in the end it just stresses you out, because you have to do everything in the last minute, or you are delaying it for ages, and you are not getting the results, right? So in that case, I recommend my clients to uh, make the I'm sorry. So let's take the thing that you're like to do instead of doing the task. For example, I don't know, doing something else, or painting or drawing or watching movies or whatever. And so this is the reward, right? And if you schedule that after, right after you are done with the job, uh, then it can become your motivation, because instead of taking those sweets beforehand, you will know that as soon as I take my vegetables, then I'm going to get the sweets, and you get the association with unpleasant task and pleasant task together. So try to create an environment which is pleasant for you during the task. For example, having pleasant music, or creating an environment which is pleasant for you, and reward yourself for even if you spend just 5 minutes over the task. This is really important, because like whenever we have this thing on the to-do list that really annoys and bothers us, we imagine that we have to do it all at once. We have to spend hours doing that, or we have to create discomfort for ourselves. And this is whatever our mind tries to avoid. But if you break down your task into 5 minute or 10 minute or 15 minute micro tasks, then it will not be that uncomfortable anymore, and you will know that, okay, if I do it even for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, then I'm going to reward myself with that activity that I used to replace the main activity with. So does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally makes sense. I love that. I think I love so as adults we feel like we should be so much more mature and not need those rewards after doing something hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or doing something that we really don't want to do. But we're really just a bunch of kids inside, right? And so I love the idea of giving myself a reward, something small, of course, so it's not out of hand. But I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love the idea of giving myself a reward for doing the thing that I don't actually really want to do. And then, I'm hoping, and you'll tell me if that's correct or not, that if we do that, then eventually it becomes more fun, or at least a habit to do the thing that we don't really want to do, but now we've done it so long that maybe we don't
Mm-hmm.
even really need the reward. Is that kind of how that works out?
Yeah, it may work out like that, because if it becomes habit after a certain time, then you might not need a reward anymore, but you will have this stable and sustainable habit. And also, it's really important to schedule one specific time when you are doing this unpleasant work, and when you are rewarding yourself. So, because the context at some point becomes a cue, it becomes a signal that you have to start working on that. And so it's important to be consistent with a time or place or environment that will trigger your action. Because if you just do not have a specific time or specific structure for that, then it might become complicated to build a habit, because habit needs some triggers. It needs that your tools are available, like for example your laptop is on and it's easy to access whatever you need in order, for example, to create a content, or to I don't know, whatever your task is, you must have everything at your hand. Everything must be available, and you should always try to do it in the same context, because as soon as you change the context, then your habits might also change, or you might even lose some of your stable habits. So make sure that your trigger is kind of not related to the things that might change. Because for example, if you choose specific time, it doesn't matter whether you are at home or in the office or in the library or in the shop, you will have the association that this is the time to work. And then for your mind it will be easier to predict how it should act, and then it will become a habit, and then it will become stable.
Ah, so genius. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's why morning time or morning routines are so important, right? Because it builds up that habit, that schedule of like, nope, at this time this is what I do, at this time this is what I do every day. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
easier for them to become habits, and it makes us gravitate more toward it and crave it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we have it set up that way. That is so
Mm-hmm.
genius. You're amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, so some of the simple things can be really genius because, for example, when you wake up in the morning, there is certain routine that you are following, and you are doing it totally automatically. You are not thinking about what you have to do or when you have to do that. You know the sequence that first you wake up, then you brush your teeth, then you drink coffee, then you put on your laptop, whatever. So there is this automatic process. And when you try to create the habit, you just put that action, the desirable action somewhere in that sequence, and then it becomes organic. Then it becomes the part of that. It becomes automatic after a certain time. So this is the point of following time or sequences, so that it just becomes automatic and natural.
So genius. Oh, I love it. And I got to be honest, I feel like now us having this conversation about building in those little rewards is really going to help me put together a freaking morning routine that I will stick to, because I am the world's worst at morning routines.
Yeah, and also the thing which is really important is to understand your prime time. So the time when you are most active and mostly energized. Maybe like early in the morning is simply not your best time. Some people are more active at noon or at 2 o'clock or at 4 p.m., whatever. So you must know which is your specific time when you feel most active and ready to work or start, and when you have least distractions. So morning is usually good because there are less distractions. So as far as you remember, you are a mother of 4 kids, right?
Yes, I am.
So basically this is the point. uh, when you wake up early, there is less noise, there is less distraction, there are less random things to do. This is the point of waking up early in the morning, because there are a lot of things that you can do, and it's rewarding on its own because you can concentrate and kind of have me time or productive time or whatever you schedule at that moment.
Yeah, I love that so much. And honestly, now us talking about it makes me kind of excited to get up early tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, tomorrow's Saturday, but um maybe I will get up early tomorrow. But yeah, it makes me kind of excited about it and brings a whole new, instead of feeling
Mhm.
so overwhelmed and kind of depleted about having to set up a morning routine, it makes me kind of excited, like, no, this is my time that I get for myself, and I'm going to build in those little rewards, so it's going to be like a party when I wake up now.
Yeah, it can be. It really can be. And also, it's important not to aim to wake up very early. So, for example, if you are waking up, let's say at 9 a.m., don't aim to wake up at 4 a.m. Just start it really small. Start it with like 15 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier, and do it step by step to get the feel, like what works for you and what doesn't. What do you enjoy and what you do not enjoy. If it works for you, and if you feel kind of happy and productive, and you feel that there are a lot of things that you accomplish and you get pleasure from kind of checking all the stuff on your to-do list, and um, accomplishing more things than you would accomplish, let's say, during the whole day, then it means that it's fine. But if it's not, then just try to choose the time that you are comfortable with and that gives you the best results. So it's not just an aim to wake up really, really early and then get exhausted for the whole day. So try to listen
Right.
to your body and your mind, at that point.
That is so smart. And yeah, I totally love that. How can you help us figure out how to? So let's say there is, obviously we all have bad habits. How do we, let's say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a bad habit. Let's say every night after dinner, our family has dessert. Do you have any tips for breaking a habit like that?
Well, actually, like theoretically, you cannot break the habit, but you can replace the habit. Like you can replace bad habit with a good habit. So you must understand what is the reason that you're having a dessert at that time. So if you just crave for sweets, maybe there is some other time that you can do that instead of late at night. If the point is that it's just the family tradition or you enjoy being together around your family and having a dessert, then maybe you could replace it with something more healthy at that point. And so the main thing, just like in the case of every other habit, is understand when and why it occurs. And so what craving do you have at that moment that you try to satisfy? So is it socializing? Is it sugar? Is it hunger? Whatever it is, and then deal with it, like intentionally replacing it with something that will give you the same rewarding feeling as a dessert would. That's the point of replacing the habit
Okay.
instead of simply breaking that.
Got it. So genius. Man, this has been so incredible and so informative. Do you mind if we do a quick rapid fire?
Not at all. You can start.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go. So, what is a book, article, person, or talk that has changed your life?
Well, many, many years ago, it was a book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. And can I add movie too?
Yeah, of course.
So it was the Matrix movie. It has really
Awesome.
impacted my worldview.
Oh, that's so genius. I love that. And what is specifically about the Matrix changed things for you?
Well, perspective of the life, what kind of power our mind has and mindset has and perception of the world, and that you can actually change a lot of things and you can take control and have power over your fate or destiny or whatever people call it, but that you are the kind of leader of your life and captain of your soul at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And I totally agree as well. What is your favorite Friday night at home?
Well, it's eating snacks, watching anime, or reading manga.
Awesome. Awesome. And what was your dream job as a kid?
Well, it was Hollywood actress.
Oh, nice. Nice. Is there any actress that you looked up to or you felt like you wanted to kind of be like?
Yeah, it was Charlize Theron.
Oh, she is the best. She's so the best. And she's so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us about the next vacation that you're planning.
Well, I wish I could go to Berlin at some point whenever flights are available.
Yeah, that hopefully we will all get to travel soon. We shall see.
Yeah,
And
maybe
then
next year.
exactly. Fingers crossed because I feel like we all need it. And I think the economy needs it too. So
Yeah.
tell us your best advice to help our listeners live with audacity.
Well, it's to free your mind and change something today. Don't delay it for tomorrow.
Yes, I love that so much. I actually have been thinking so much lately about how it's just so easy for us to get up and do the same things that we do every day. But like to grow and to change, we have to change our daily habits, right? And so I'm so excited that I got to have you on and talk so much about that. It has been so incredible. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed that too.
Okay, so tell everyone how they can find you to get more information or inquire about working with you.
Well, they can reach me out on my website. It's coachsali.com, where they can also access links to my social media. And also I'm available on Facebook as Sali D. And so they can find me in your friends too.
Okay, perfect. And then so everyone, I want you to know that the website is coachsali.com, coachsali.com. Sali, thank you again so much for being here. I super am grateful for it, and it was amazing.
Thank you.
Hey, boo-boo. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you found value in this episode, do me a solid favor and take a screenshot, post it in your stories, and tag me. I love watching you grow and live up to your greatest potential. Let me cheer you on.